Hey guys! So today we're going to create this beautiful best friend typography type tumbler that I created. And you can see it on the left spinning the final product, which I absolutely love. On the right, you can see me spray painting the base coat. You're going to wonder, Jen, why is it pink? Well, I did another tumbler with pink and then one with blue. So it's basically the same thing. I painted the tumbler white and then spray painted the bottom half blue. Just like you see in the video, only it's pink. So now I'm just going to put the resin onto the tumbler, and you just need a really thin coat. You don't need a lot of resin to do the glitter. And I just spread the resin around with my glove, and then I just pour the glitter over. I start with pouring the solid colors, so I poured the blue on the bottom, and then I poured the white on top, and then I kind of tilt the cup towards my hand in order to sprinkle blue downwards into the white, and this way it kind of did an ombre effect. And then I did the opposite with the white, where I tilted it towards the blue down, and then I kind of sprinkled some glitter. It worked out really good for my ombre effect from white to blue, as you can see here. Then I just added a clear resin coat. I just used my glove. I only used like less than an ounce of resin, so you don't need very much at all. I think this was like, I don't know, like 36 grams or something of resin. Anyways, I just spread it around over the tumbler. Don't forget to put electrical tape on the bottom, and then in half an hour to 45 minutes, take the tape off so that you don't have any issues with it hardening and creating something funny. But basically, it's a super simple process, and I really loved creating the ombre effect of the glitter because that was lots and lots of fun. Some people use a tea strainer in order to do the glitter, and then they also mix, like I could have mixed white and blue together for the middle part, so that's also an option you can do instead of tilting the tumbler up and down. So there's a few different options there, but definitely excited to apply the decal. Okay, so the first layer of resin is dry, so that's the layer protecting the glitter, so it's super sparkly. Looks really good. And I had this idea where I wanted words to fade down. Actually, I originally wanted words to fade out, but I realized how hard it was going to be to get white text onto paper. So I decided to go with blue text on white paper. And this is kind of what I came up with. So you could do your own tumbler with a whole bunch of words that describes your friend, your mom, anybody that you're doing your tumbler for. So I'm doing this for my best friend, so I had done all these words up. And I'm not going to lie, that took a lot of trial and error to put together. So what I printed it on is this water slide decal paper. There'll be a link in the description. And I have a laser printer, so this is for lasers, but you can also get it for inkjet. And the thing with this water slide paper is you can print on it, put it in water, and then basically you slide it off. And so I can slide it off, like you can slide it off onto a mug or any kind of surface. So I can slide it off onto my tumbler, and then I can put, I'm going to put vinyl on the bottom, but also I can put a layer of resin over it to protect it. Now on here they're saying you could put it in the oven or let it dry for 1 to 3 days. So there's options there. But yeah, this is the water slide decal. Now with tumblers, so this tumbler, I'm just going to put this up here. This tumbler is a little bit different than the Northern Lights one I did. So this one actually, the edges go out like this. So it's not perfectly straight up and down edges. They actually are on a slight angle. So this is a 20-ounce tumbler. And there are some templates online. I found a 16-ounce one, but they're all just a little bit different. So I'm going to show you my trial and error. So I took some of my transparency paper that I got, and these I used to do acrylic pour swipes, so there's no wasting either. So even though I printed on them, I can just use them for my swipes, clean them off still. So I was trying to get the perfect angle, because if I put straight text on, which I think was my first printout, was straight, this is text that hasn't been edited or adjusted. When I put that on, you're going to see how towards the back end here, see the word beautiful appear and awesome. Awesome is almost good, but then see how all the words kind of go on an angle upward? That's because the tumbler's edges aren't straight up and down, so it does need to be adjusted a little bit. So just an FYI on that. So what I did was, I didn't know the angle of this one and I was trying to match it. So I did a bunch of adjusting in Photoshop, trying to get that angle right. See, here I got it totally wrong. But at least I could still keep using these for my swipes, so I'm not too worried. And I had some more, but I finally got the perfect angle, which was, I didn't have to adjust it too much. So this is actually printed on the Decal paper. Okay, so now it's time to apply the Decal, and I've sprayed it a few times with the sealant, so I'm hoping this goes good. It should line up really good. I think I'm going to start on the end and then slide the paper out. So all it says to do is to basically put it in, whoa, for 10 to 45 seconds. And that curled up really fast, so let's just try and hold it down here. In the water it just totally curled. But we'll just stick it in here enough so that that paper will release from the Decal, and I'm hoping that the clear coat will help protect the ink. Okay, now it's staying down, so just beware when you first stick it in there, it totally curls up. I'm just getting some paper towel ready because it's super wet, and it's already starting to curl up here, so we should be good. And take it out then. Whoops. And then it says to quickly apply it, but I mean, like, how quickly can you have time to apply? I don't know. I'm just trying to line everything up to the top of the tumbler. And then I'm thinking maybe I can kind of slide the paper out by holding the tumbler or the Decal onto the tumbler. Okay, let's keep going, just doing it slow. If I have to readjust, I guess I have to readjust. I'm just turning my tumbler as I'm trying to pull this off. This was a huge Decal. Okay, so that almost lined up. And it's very wet, but it should kind of move, because I gotta pull this down a bit and pull these together. So it's a matter of kind of getting it off the paper and then applying it onto your tumbler. And I don't want the top of that to be sticking up. So I gotta make sure that that's all stretched out. We have a huge, and you kind of gotta push it around a little bit, just delicately, to try and get the wrinkles out. while also trying to get the air bubbles out from underneath, if that makes any sense. I'm just going to, oh no, I just folded it up on itself, and that did not go vote well for the kindness word. Okay, probably a little ambitious to do an entire tumbler decal, but it did actually go on, so I mean that's good, and it is looking pretty good. I'm just going to try and get some of the wrinkles and bubbles out without destroying the text. They say to just kind of keep working it so that you get all your air bubbles out. Which is kind of what I'm doing. I wonder if I use a heat gun, if that would shrink it a little bit on there. But that is looking really awesome. I love the effect that this gave, so I'll just show you guys. So you can have all the words and they fade into the blue and kind of disappear, which is really cool. It's kind of a graphic design look, but it's fun to describe your friend or your mom or your aunt or sister or whoever you want. You could put however many words you would like to describe them. There. Ooh, that looks super pretty. I am excited. Now it says you can put it in the oven or dry it for 1 to 3 days, the decal, because you want to make sure that all the air comes out. I wonder if my heat gun would help, but I don't want to melt the plastic. So the heat gun, it actually worked really well to dry this water slide decal onto the tumbler and get all the moisture out from underneath and that was on it, like the water and stuff, the excess water. And it actually kind of like saran wrapped it or shrunk it to the tumbler, which was awesome because all the little wrinkles stretched out and it worked really good. So I highly suggest using a heat gun. It didn't actually melt the plastic at all and I love it. So all the words came out really nice and solid, no wrinkles, stretched out. Took a little bit of time to heat it, but the results were well worth it. Okay, last but not least, I have a couple of vinyls to put on. Just using paper towels so that the tumbler doesn't roll around. Seems to stay a bit better. So I have my best friend's name to put here, just like that. So I'm going to use some transfer paper. And I'm just going to stick the name on the transfer paper. Beauty. So that is super fine Cricut cutting. Alright, so I'm going to put this white text in the blue at the bottom because we have the white filled up at the top. So I just got to center it kind of where I want it and then make sure it's not super crooked. And I start from the middle and just push down to the outside. So just like this. Just take your time, be careful because it's, if you use a thicker font, you might be a little bit easier for you. And I just peel that off. We get this beautiful calligraphy type name in vinyl. Gonna match that up. And voila, that's the front of it. Now I also thought about putting a big K on the back side. And this is all going to be protected by the second layer of resin. So don't worry if you want to do fine detailed words like this, you totally can. Because the second layer of resin, so if I put my fingers here, I'm just going to see where the middle would be on the opposite side. It's like right there. To put the K on, I think like that. So have fun with it. You know, you could pick whatever kind of font you want for your favorite person's name that you're obviously making the tumbler for, or even yourself if you wanted to make your own tumbler. Now you could see this one came off way easier because it's a thicker font, so I didn't have any issues there. Sometimes though, attaching it can be an issue. I just don't want this sticky stuff, the transfer tape. I'm going to put it right there. And always, again, start from the middle. And I got to be very careful of that I don't peel up on the vinyl decal. Ooh, very careful. Alright, so this is ready for the final coat of resin. So I'll mix that up, and when we come back, we'll... Oh, we can't forget to put tape on the bottom before I go for the final coat. So always, because I took the tape off in order to do all this, put electrical tape back on, and then it's ready. So we'll come back after I mix them up. Okay, so last but not least is the final coating of resin. So I just mixed up a very little amount of resin, and you just I applied it with my glove, so you can apply it with your glove, which I find easier than the tools sometimes, but whichever you prefer, just go with it. One thing to remember is after you apply your coating and get it all settled overall atop of your text and everything, don't forget to come back in like half an hour, 45 minutes, and remove the electrical tape at the bottom. I did this on one tumbler where I forgot to remove the electrical tape at the bottom, and it kind of became a huge mess. So don't forget to come back, set an alarm, and remove that tape. So it'll look absolutely gorgeous. And voila! I love the way this tumbler came out. It's my absolute favorite tumbler. I love that it has all the words that describe my best friend, and couldn't be happier with the turnout. I love how it fades into the blue, the words, and that her name is in the white, at the opposite at the bottom, at the letter. I think it's awesome. So I hope you have fun making your own typography type tumbler. And I just want to say a huge thank you, everybody, for watching, subscribing to my channel, liking, commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And definitely thank you so much for using my Amazon links in the description. They help me out greatly, and there's no extra cost to you. So thank you, guys. You're super awesome. And I hope you guys are all having a glorious day and have a blast creating your best friend or mom tumbler. Thanks, guys.